Today, we're talking about AI browsers and why this is the next step in AI after AI agents. And maybe you've seen the early release of Comet, the new AI browser from Perplexity. Also, OpenAI has announced the release of their own AI browser that will be coming soon. But let's be clear, this is not just a new cool AI tool that you can try in your free time. This is completely going to change the way that you work and how you use AI. And that's what I'm going to prove to you in this video and break it down. By the way, I'm Joey. I've been doing this for 7 years, and AI automation is all I do all day. Okay, so the first reason that I think we're not totally ready for AI browsers is because this is the first time that AI is actually becoming invisible. And look, this right here is really the only taste of AI that most people have. This window right here, ChatGPT, that's really the only way that most people interact with AI at all. In fact, that's probably the first thing they think about when they hear AI. Like ChatGPT and AI for them is the same thing. Then maybe some of them have played with some of the AI tools out there, things like NA10, Fireflies, Otter, they maybe have heard of 11 Labs or, Agen or those AI avatars. But again, for most people, messing around with new tools is not really something they like to do. It takes too much effort, and most importantly, it's disconnected from the way that they currently work. And this is really where AI browsers come in, because that's sort of an invisible way for those people that will never touch those AI tools out there to actually use AI agents in their workflow every day. Because now AI is going to be in the same place that you work in every day, and that's your browser. So let me show you an example in Dia, which is sort of the OG AI browser. And I said that I'm reading an article about, the latest scandal about the CEO of Astronomer. And let's say that I don't know what Astronomer is as a company. Well, sort of the old way to do this would be to open a new tab and then search on Google what Astronomer is. Or just open a new tab, open ChatGPT, and again, do the same thing. But now if I just highlight whatever text I want, I can open the chat and ask a question specifically about this. And without leaving the tab, I can go ahead and prompt the AI, and it's going to tell me whatever I want about this. And it's just so much easier than having to open a bunch of tabs and do the same thing. The assistant is just there, and it has the context, it sees what you see, and you don't have to explain too much. You just have to ask what you want to know. And when I open a new tab, it's not Google that shows up like you would in Google Chrome, but it's the Dia AI agent, which is powered by OpenAI. Now, you might say that this could have just been a Google Chrome extension. Like this little chat on the sidebar could have just been something that you add on as a layer on Google Chrome because everyone is already using it. But the power of AI browsers is that you're already logged into all of your accounts, and it also has all of the context that's happening in your different tabs, which wouldn't be the case if you're just using like a SaaS tool or an extension that again wouldn't have access to all of those things. And that's the shift. AI stops being something that you use, it becomes embedded in your workflow. But it's one thing to say that AI is becoming invisible, but let me take it one step further and show you what this actually means. It now means that AI and the browser can think with you. So let me show you again inside of Dia. So you're in your browser doing what you normally do, just checking your calendar, checking your email. And now with the sidebar, you can go ahead and mention tabs. So, obviously by default, the tab that I'm currently in is going to be mentioned. I can also add my Gmail. And because it sees what I'm doing on those tabs, it has a context. I don't need to stop my workflow and re-explain what I'm doing to ChatGPT and sort of losing all of my focus here. I can just open the chat, mention those tabs, and then go ahead and prompt the AI just like I would with ChatGPT. But it's not just going to be able to read those tabs and what I'm doing. It's actually going to be able to take control of the browser and do the things that I ask it to do because it already has access. It already has all of the context that it needs to be able to execute some task that I'm giving it. It's not like an AI agent just waiting for me to explain what I'm trying to do, give it a command, giving all of the context. It's already listening in, already paying attention, and it's just there ready to pick up wherever I left off. And by the way, there's a ton of practical ways to implement this in your current workflow, and that's the kind of stuff that I talk about in my free newsletter about the best and new AI automation. So make sure that you subscribe to that. That's going to be in the description. And all of this is what makes AI browsers feel different. But let's go even deeper, which leads us to the third reason why we're not ready for AI browsers. And that's because it's not about delegating things to AI. It's about collaborating with it. And this is what vibe browsing is. Because the truth is that people don't really want AI agents, at least not the way that they currently work, where you just hand it off a task and then you come back later to see how it's done. And we've seen this with things like Manus AI, which had a lot of attention a few months ago, and most recently with the new ChatGPT agent. And OpenAI had all of those videos that they put out with the ChatGPT agent last week, with these guys just asking the most mundane things that you can think of and closing the laptop, walking away, and then coming back to take on the task.
It did pretty well.
But this is not really how anyone works. So let me give you an example again inside of Dia. So now with AI browsers, instead of having a bunch of different tabs open and mostly interacting with those tabs, now you're going to mostly interact with your AI agents. You're still going to have those tabs opened, but the main interactions that you're going to have is going to be between you, the AI agent, and then the AI agent is going to be the one interacting with the browsers. So we have this extra layer in between us and the browser, and it's making a lot of things a lot easier because now with natural language and just asking things to the AI agents, you can go ahead and do most of the things that you would have before. You're still in control, but now AI is giving you momentum, not friction. It's not just another tab to open to use AI. And all of this works even better because of this final shift. And that is that the science of prompting is becoming irrelevant. Because again, back to this is how most people interact with AI and really get stuck because they open this box and they stare at this screen. And even though they know how powerful AI is, they don't really know what to ask. Because now everyone knows that you can't just go into ChatGPT and ask something super simple like, write me an article about the astronomer story. If I was to just go ahead with this prompt right here, the output would probably be terrible. And most people know this, and that's why they spend all of this time trying to come up with the perfect prompt and engineer this massive, complex structure for all of the prompt. And the reason they have to do this is because if you just have ChatGPT on a new tab, it doesn't have any context, it doesn't know what you're trying to do, it doesn't know the tone of voice, it doesn't know anything about what you're trying to achieve here. So it's just going to give you the most boilerplate output that you can imagine, probably not going to be something that you want. But again, AI browsers, because they have all of the context and they already see what you're doing, it really bypasses all of this learning curve of knowing what to prompt, how to prompt, and this really complicated process. You don't have to go in here and toy around with different models, with different tools, and have all of those options. You can be much more direct with what you want, and you'll still get a pretty good output. So this whole science of prompting is becoming pretty much irrelevant because now the context is baked into the tool that you're already using. And that's why AI browsers are so powerful and so different from what we've seen before. Because now we can deliver value to people that never really even intended to use it. It's adoption without friction, without a prompting masterclass, and without a big learning curve. So let's just do a quick recap here. AI browsers are taking us away from tools and prompts. They work alongside us with all of the context needed, and you don't need to start over in a new tab. And that means that all of the prompt engineering that we've had to sort of learn in the past 2 to 3 years is becoming irrelevant. Now, if you want to dive deeper into some of those other AI workflows that are really changing the game, then just make sure to watch this next video right here. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.